Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Shipper here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert doing research. I haven't done a video in a while, so just thought that it might be kind of fun to check out some shit coins, Bitcoin. I mean, it's all shit right now, but yeah, let's get to it. This is Bitcoin USD on the weekly here. Not really good price action, I mean, to say the least. We could not break past this kind of 119.5k level over several weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks. 6 weeks just sitting at that area. And you know, this is pretty common price action. Like, for example, Bitcoin also had the same problem before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 weeks below this 108 region as well. And these weekly levels are pretty clean, in my opinion. Like, you know, you can just see like there's no weekly closes above there significantly. And similar to this 108 level, you can also see the same for 119. What are we seeing now? You know, Bitcoin, despite the rate cuts, despite decent macro environment, despite all equities doing pretty well, Bitcoin has been pretty, honestly, underwhelming. It's been pretty shitty. And we've seen some pretty unfortunate price action in the last week or so. You know, alts have really taken a beating. We'll review some of those in a sec, but we've just kind of seen a lot of decoupling from equities and you know, not in a very nice way. Uncertain of where we're headed in the midterm overall. I do believe that we're actually in a local bottom currently. I think that we're going to see, like, you know, maybe a little bit more chop here, but I think we see a bounce in the short term. Don't know how strong or if it's quote unquote the bottom, but this area does make a lot of sense. It's that weekly level that we just marked at 109k, 108k. And if you start looking on some of the lower time frames as well, you know, this area is always going to be a demand area. Like, basically, you want to see this type of price action before a big move. These regions are always like pretty good support areas on the first bounce, and you know, this is pretty common price action to see a slight bounce now. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this move up a little bit. Don't know to where this might bounce to. It's going to depend on how long price consolidates at this area. Is it possible that, you know, price just full on reverses? Of course, anything is possible, you know, like, you know, maybe we just blast on through. And that was the bottom, and that's that. But I think it's much more likely what we're going to see here is we're going to see probably some sort of consolidation period. I think the 200-day EMA is coming up here. You can kind of see the interactions the last time that price was around the 200 EMA, the 200-day EMA rather. You know, price interacts a lot with it. It chops around. It forms a bottom. This is very common. When you see a large gap between price and the EMA, you can see that, you know, back in October 2023, it didn't hit it again until July of 2024. Like, that's a significant amount of time for price to come, you know, stay above it. And if you start to see large gaps, so if you look at the 2021 run, huge gaps, you know, this is like the definition of an insane bullish run. We don't really have these anymore for a lot of reasons. I don't want to go into like the long rants on why we don't have that type of price action. I mean, 2024 was decent, but even still, 2024 had a long chop period in the middle where we just did nothing. And I don't think we're going to see those types of that price action that we saw back in 2018, 2021 anymore, either with ETFs. But that doesn't mean that it's all over. I think that we're going to see something like this happen. You're not going to see, you know, price like fucking moon and then the EMA like be super lagging, you know, overall like we did before. But it wouldn't surprise me at all actually to see something like this where we see, you know, price bounce a little bit from this current area and then and then we just kind of chop around, 100K, maybe a little bit below 100K. And then we just see another consolidation period, and then we make another leg up. That wouldn't surprise me at all, personally. That's kind of what I'm expecting from the midterm, to be honest with you. Invalidation of this idea would just be like breaking 120 with strength. If like we just like go up to like 120, with a strong candle, strong volume, and it's a legit move, then the bottom is in. Like, this was the bottom. You missed it, is what it is. That's that. But in the short term, it looks a little bit sketchy, but like if your overall target for Bitcoin is just much higher, then it doesn't matter if you buy at 105, 110, 115, 95. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, okay, yeah, you gave up 5%, whatever, 10%. But if your target is like $300,000 or something insane, then $500,000, who really cares? It's like, doesn't matter. Anyways, if you want to look at the short term, I'm not going to spend too much time on Bitcoin here. We're just in the definition of a trading range here. This is like the literal fucking definition of a trading range. You can see the highs, you can see the lows, you can see price can't break these highs here, not breaking below lows. And what we're going to see now probably is maybe some deviation. People are going to start buying the fuck out of it. Then it's going to come all the way back down. Come all the way back down below 108. Oh my God, it's all over. And then back in the range. Although I don't really think that's really going to happen here, to be frank and honest with you. This type of price action happens more with larger range structures. Before you start to see a type of a big move in one or the other direction. So what I mean by that is like, a range is generally created by strong price action in one direction. So what I mean by that is you'll see a big cascade. You'll see a big cascade come down. Let's do a better liquidation cascade. So you'll see a big move, and you'll see a wick, and then it'll come back up, and then it'll come back down. And then your trading range is going to be this, generally speaking. And then at that point, you'll see some deviations on both ends. On the flip side, you can have a big move up, and then you'll come like spiking down, and then your trading range was just formed. But this, in my opinion, is not necessarily a good example of that. Yes, this was a big move down, but you're seeing this very tight range here. There wasn't much of a deviation. It wasn't as much of a liquidation move, so to speak. Anyways, I know I'm starting to get too much like into, this is not probably necessary. But anyways, the TLDR is that I think that Bitcoin is locally bottomed. I don't know if this is going to be quote unquote the bottom. I think that price is going to still chop around here. I think we maybe bounce up, maybe up to like, I don't know, 110, 112, or not 110, of course, 113, whatever. And then, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see like 100K within a few weeks, to be frank and honest with you. And we just like, maybe not 100K, but just around there and chop around, 200 EMA, it's like so close. Stronger liquidity areas like in this area also haven't been tapped yet. I think there's a CMA gap somewhere too. I mean, that's pretty far down, I think. But anyways, yeah, enough on Bitcoin for now. ETH has been shit overall. There has been this 4K level, of course, is the legendary $4,000 level. Maybe it's just as easy. This is SR flip. I don't know. I don't know about ETH. Who knows? You can always just you know, make this exact thing where it's like all these highs, support, or resistance, and then now theoretically should become support. But I don't know. We'll see. ETH, I think, generally is just moving because of DATs. There's no real usage on the chain. I think it's generally not a very good asset, but, you know, there's still probably money behind it. And if Bitcoin does stay in a healthy area, healthy range, I think that ETH will be fine. To be determined what Bitcoin dominance is going to do, but yeah, let's see if ETH continues to outperform Bitcoin. I don't know. I'm kind of dubious, but let's just see. Solana, I mean, it doesn't look good, honestly. It just doesn't look good. There's a lot of buying up here, and like now there's a lot of selling. I think the only thing that can save this is if more DAT companies come behind and start buying. In the short term, it looks like BNB season because of ASTER. We'll talk about that more. But I just think that Solana really is struggling for catalysts in the short term. It's still like one of the best chains, of course, but yeah, I think that maybe it's still going to do fine as long as there's more DAT buying. You know, I got roped into thinking that this is just going to go higher, but if I were looking for an entry in Solana, the levels just aren't clear to me. You know, like when you see this type of weird, like almost like TWAP buying up like this, it just does not. It's inorganic price action. Like you can try to use indicators like 200 EMA and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't know. Like TA is very difficult in these situations. You more like, honestly, like when I was seeing DAT buying on shitcoins and like seeing this type of chart, I would just buy it. I fuck the TA. You just have to use common sense. Like when you start to see this type of buying, it does look like it's bouncing now, to be fair, you know. But Solana is going to go the way of Bitcoin right now. You know, if Bitcoin's healthy, then Solana will also be fine. But overall, like Solana, ETH, they're all kind of in the same bucket. I actually think BNB chart held up better than the others, and I do have a position in BNB. I think it's still a good coin. I think it's better than Solana and ETH personally. I say that because I think it's like it's more under the radar. You also have like fucking ZZ, who's like one of the richest guys on earth, like behind it, and I think it's still probably going to be decent, to be honest. Like of these three, I have bigger bags than BNB, but let's just see. Let's review a few altcoins. This is DOGE. DOGE had a strong move, but it couldn't break out of this range high around like 29 cents or something like that. It's kind of disappointing. Same high that we saw back in July, like kind of same break area near February of this year too. But I don't know. For now, it just still remains here in this like super long trading range, if you could even call it that. It's quite the range, so to speak. You know, 250 days, 230 days, or whatever. Should eventually go back up. I mean, do I think it's gonna like break all-time high again? I don't know. Like, I thought that the answer was like it could never do that, given the market cap and given like the fact that it was the meme back in 21. And I mean, there's so many different factors back then. Now there's so much dilution, tension, but I don't know. Like, I guess we'll see. Like, I mean, it's probably a decent long right around here. You can see like this support region here. So probably good for a long 200-day EMA. Like a lot of good things happening for it. So Hype is a great coin. One of the best projects in crypto. One of the best teams in crypto. One of the best, you know, everything in crypto. It's the best. The problem is that you have unlocks coming in November. The team unlocks, $500 million. No, I'm sorry, not 500. They'll unlock, I think, 12 bill total. I think it's 50 mil a month or something like that. I don't remember. 50 million a month. Something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's a lot of money. There's no way that they can OTC. I think it's hard to OTC it given that size. There's that type of size in crypto. You can try running DATs, but that would be significant. I don't know. I think the entire market right now sold hype because of team unlocks. Like, Arthur Hayes really brought that to light. Obviously, that was already known. Everyone just hopes that Jeff is going to figure out a solution. Jeff's obviously Giga Brain. Team is probably rich. But I think it's just because Jeff is Giga rich and Giga dedicated founder mode. I don't know if you can necessarily, assume the rest for his entire team. I'm sure there's a few of the people there that want to get paid. Generational wealth. Don't fucking blame them. You build one of the best projects in crypto with the best product market fit, you should get rewarded, and these guys probably are gonna laugh their way to retirement, or who the fuck knows. I don't know. Maybe they keep going. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that it's all like unknown. It's bouncing hard today, but there was a sell-off because of ASTER's price action overall. And I think it's going to keep going higher probably in the short term, but I wouldn't hang on to this position for a super long time until you maybe have some confidence on what's going to happen with hype. FARTCOIN, my dear bag of FARTCOIN is getting slaughtered. Sad. I thought this one was like bottomed. I thought this one looked good. I was very wrong. I still have a significant spot bag, 7 figures worth. It's not as much as it used to be, of course, but I think that I still believe in the thesis of it being a great meme. I think it's one of the most decentralized memes. It's got no team. It's it's a strong coin, but I think that it's struggling right now. Maybe 50 cents is the next level up. It's like a logical number. It's hard to find many technical analysis reasons to actually buy this coin. 786 fib. You can maybe use volume profile. We're about to enter some pretty chunky areas here of support between this 42 cent and 57 cent region. These areas, and obviously point of control, the entire thing where tons of volume was transacted back in 30 cents. I don't think it's going to go all the way down there. You never say never, of course. But if it does go back down, then I would personally, I'm obviously heavily biased, screaming buy anything 40 cents and below, in my opinion. But I think it'll go back up. I don't know where it will go back up. These new memes are so hard to tell, but yeah, I'm still exposed. PENGU, great coin. Some old charts here. Almost at the 200-day EMA. Still one of the strongest coins overall. Right at the 0.5 fib. I mean, you could fib the entire move if you want. It's a little... I generally don't like to do it as much, but it makes for a lot less clean chart, personally, for me. But, I don't know. You're almost at the 200-day EMA. Price, it looks like it's rebounding with the rest of the market. I still think it's a great coin. I still have a bag of it. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit more downtrend and chop around. It would really be helpful to see this type of price action where it just chops around for a bit, back in June, July period. And then I think, strong move up later on would be pretty nice to see. Still bullish. Mantle is another bag of mine. I think it's a strong coin. I think that it's held up way better than pretty much every other altcoin in the market, and that's because this is like basically Binance's BNB. If you look at some of the exchange valuations, both on like, you know, equities, like if you look at, you know, Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken, or you look at BNB, if you look at, you know, these other coins, like Bybit is still a very strong overall centralized exchange. And I think that if you start using Mantle as its kind of proxy, I think that you'll see that MNT still seems pretty cheap, relatively speaking. Obviously, I'm biased because I have a bag, but I think it's still a very good coin. I think it's a good coin right now too, because it's a safe haven coin, meaning that it's much more protected to the downside, you know, if things start going south. Just because you know that Bybit is behind it. It's not like Pump Fund or World Liberty Fi, which are so fucking volatile, or, you know, even other coins. So yeah. ENA is a coin that I also like a lot. I'm scared of the $100 million unlocks each month. It's near the 200-day EMA. I think that buying between 54 cents and 47 cents could be interesting. It's got a really clean fib, SR levels. I think it's also important to remember too that sometimes these coins don't have to necessarily bounce though. If you look at this price action back in January down to April, there was pretty much no bounces whatsoever. Like, I mean, just look at that price action. It's just brutal downtrend, you know. So slow grind down to oblivion. So even though I think this is a pretty good coin, I definitely wouldn't rush into it. And what I'd want to see like this is this price action. I want to see us form a strong floor, strong base. You don't want to see the slow bleed. Because if you see a slow bleed, that's this right here. If you see a slow bleed, there's nothing happening. It's just insider selling. Or, you know, something just not it's not great, right? It's just not nice to see that type of price action for sure. But yeah, you want to see a floor being done. Still think it's a good coin though. It's one of the best on the market in my opinion. Fundamentals wise. Link, great coin again. Not the cleanest price action. I don't know. Like, still great coin, but I mean, I don't see any reason to quite buy it yet. What I want to see is, again, I want to see it form some sort of floor. But still one of the best coins out there. COTI, I have a bag of this. The chart itself is not super sexy. It is close to my this 3D demand zone though, and the 3D demand zone back in 23 like really skyrocketed price hugely. I will say that the COTI team, they've still stayed alive throughout the years. I remember trading this thing back in 2021. You know, sometimes you just like get hidden, you get anchored to these old coins that you used to trade, and you just trade them for some reason. And I think that's what happens here. I just bought a bag and invested in COTI. So it is entering the 3D demand zone here, and I would want to see more of a floor set, which is what I thought here. More of a floor set and then a move up. ASTER. We all know the story on ASTER. If you don't know the story, it's basically CZ's way to try and fight against Hyperliquid. BNB's Hyperliquid, so to speak. The product itself is pretty trash. It's not great. It's wash trading. It's execution, buggy. But it's a narrative, and it's got one of the richest guys. It's got the richest guy in crypto and one of the richest men in the world behind it. So how can you How can you say no to that? I have a bag. I wrote a long, like, drawn out thesis. Long story short, I faded this fucking thing forever, honestly. I saw it at 7 cents, 15 cents, 30 cents. Finally bought it at 45 cents. Sold it at 65 cents. Mulled on it more. Rebought my entire position and way more at 85 cents. Rode that. Sold half on that spike up to like $1.80 or something. $1.70. Rode the rest. I am sitting with about 20% of my bag left. I'll just ride it. Still a good coin. I still think that it's good. To be determined if the market has enough liquidity to handle this and XPL. In super bullish conditions and in good conditions, it absolutely can support it. But in these current conditions where everything's very GD and scary, to be determined. I don't know yet. XPL, I have a bag. I top blasted last night at the highs like a real man and then was promptly down like 20%. But it's all spot, so it is what it is. I think that it's still going higher. It's like 12 bill FTV, maybe a little more now. I don't know. Like, I mean, if you just look at it, it's like still one of the top projects in crypto. I actually wanted to buy more at the dollar mark. Didn't quite get my entry. And even kind of sad because I watched it all at this 114, 115 area off, like, you know, all in the morning and never bought. I wanted to buy the 382 fib. This is a chart that I posted this morning, actually. Yeah, not the smartest decision, but yeah, I mean, this is still going to go higher. I'll buy any dips. If it comes back down, I'll definitely buy. I think this is a good buy from 111 to $1. I think this is a good buy, personally. Narrative's still there. Still, everyone cooked. Great stuff. XPL Plasma is precisely the type of project that you want to see in crypto, honestly. Like, they've done everything right. World Liberty Fi has a weird fucking chart, honestly. Is this real? Yeah, okay. How come this chart looks so weird? Anyways. I think it's just because there's no price action on it. Yeah, this is a better one. Okay. This is what I'm more used to. I'm like, this has no price action. All right. World Liberty Fi has sat in this range for a good while. Not that long, 23 days. I mean, crypto land, that's a while. But it's a while for a new coin. I think that if you're able to hold spot on it, like, I think that this coin will eventually move. But the timing of it is really hard. If you've traded on perps, it's going to be hard. I just can't imagine they're just going to let this thing die, though. Like, if this thing, like, just makes like a weak attempt and just grinds down to zero, this is like the Trump's way of cashing out some money. I mean, it should just go higher. I can't see how it doesn't go higher. If you want to be safe, you can trade it and wait till it breaks out of 25 cents. That's fine. You won't get the best price, but you'll get the best. You won't have any opportunity cost either, though. But for now, it's like just you buy spot and you just sit on it if you want. But it's not a great active trade, in my opinion. Pump, I took an L on. I bought way too early. I think it's hit a local bottom. It's got great fib levels here. 200 EMA on the 4-hour also interacting with price here. I know it goes below, but that's actually quite common to see it trade a little bit below. I think it's hit a local bottom, to be frank and honest with you. I'm not trading it personally, but if you see more consolidation here, I definitely think it can go higher. Not personally in it right now. I took an L on it, just taking a step back, but I do think it's locally bottom personally. LINEA was a hot new token. It held up so much better before on than other tokens, but it eventually died. It's one I'm keeping my eye on. I'm not in it or anything, but there's a lot of incentives coming out with it. So just keeping an eye. It looks like it's having a pretty good day today, though. So, yeah. EIGEN I have a bag of. I was looking at this one before as ETH beta. For me, it was like breaking out truly out of this range. It's been here for, several months. It looks like almost 150 days or a decent amount of time, 5 months or so. 200-day EMA interaction. I don't really want to see it come back down within the range, though. I don't want to see it come back down like that. That would be disappointing to me. I would like to see it hold above this 200-day EMA and then make another leg up. That would be pretty strong, but I have a bag. AERO is one coin I was looking at as well. Bouncing off the 200-day EMA now. Sometimes that's all you need, honestly. It's like a very simple indicator. But it also makes sense that it's also near this wick. Wicks, generally like this, are good pivot areas, both in the highs and lows. Like, for example, when this wick gets tested eventually, this will also be a resistance area for sure. But still a good coin for now. But would like to see it form a bottom, I think, before buying. Finally, APT is the reason why I believe there will be an alt season again. Why do you ask? Because it's been chopping in the same price range for 230 days. Doing nothing. Now you could just say it's just going to grind to zero, and I really couldn't argue too hard against that either. But I think that when you see price consolidating this long, for many altcoins, usually it resolves in at least a few X move. Not saying it's going to go back to all-time high by any means. But again, when you see this type of price action, it's very much looks like accumulation. And obviously every coin is different. The older the coin, the better, though. This one's been around for a while. Insiders are already unlocking. Or maybe all unlocked. I don't know. Not unlocked, but just, yeah, they've been unlocking for a bit. There's been sell pressure galore, I'm sure. But I do believe that, seeing price like this, I think it's probably going to be a situation where you'll see this move up eventually. I don't know when, I don't know how. And the play for this is just to buy spot, and you just like go into a coma and just wait for it to go higher. That's it. Anyways, that was my altcoin review today. Thanks guys for listening. It was fun to do this. I should do it more often. Cheers and good luck.